Hi guys, welcome to the one more session of this Bootstrap. So in this session, we are going to see this Bootstrap and interview questions and answers. Here it is. Basically, whenever you attend interviews, right, they will be asking a lot of questions, right? So we know Bootstrap, but certain times you should know what type of questions they are going to ask you. So that's what is our intention in this topic. And let us go to these topics here. So first thing is, you all know that we know Bootstrap, but the common question they will ask you when you sit in front of the interviewer, the simple question, okay, they will ask you like, can you tell me something about Bootstrap? Can you explain something what exactly the Bootstrap is? So many people are aware of this, or those who really practice it Bootstrap, they can definitely have that skills, they may say, but little more tips we can give it here, what to explain them actually here. So there is an answer also I'm providing here, you can see on the screen. You all know that Bootstrap is basically related to the CSS, which is a front end. CSS and HTML is related to the front end technologies. So that's why it's called a front end framework, and that is a commonly used to create HTML, CSS, and even JavaScript web applications. So when I say JavaScript applications, you might have seen that drop-down menus, carousels, models, collapse. All these things are possible with the help of JavaScript plugins. Is it right? So that's why even JavaScript also is included. So don't ignore that JS because you always say that JS also. It is basically a framework of CSS, but it contains even JavaScript and jQuery plugins. So its layout is very responsive. One more thing is Bootstrap is useful for responsive designing. You know that grid model is it right, which is very, very important. And it is not only responsive, with the help of the Bootstrap, we can create our web pages very, very fast and easy method. Like because there are so many inbuilt classes are available. For example, if you talk about images, there is a one class called image fluidities. When you talk about a grid model, there's a container class is there. So many classes, inbuilt classes, which are prepared in CSS is ready-madely available. Is it right? So these are all things you need to explain them. So you can elaborate it like a nav bar can be included very easily. Carousels can be created very easily with the help of JavaScript plugins. Drop down menus with the help of collapse. Okay, alert messages, text if you talk about the colors, the backgrounds. So all these things, one after the other, you can see that if they ask you this question. So it is clearly it is mentioned that I'm not reading that entire thing, but I'm giving some description other than this. So it mostly focuses on building mobile applications. Mobile first concept, it is basically responsive designing using design templates. And you can also create interactive components like drop down menus, forms buttons, button groups, alerts and cards, even tabs and many more things here. So that is the first question, which is very, very important. And if you can go further here, it is about why Bootstrap is used for mobile application development. As you know that Bootstrap is used for mobile applications, right? It is a responsive designing. Okay. So mobile sizes, computer sizes, iPad or tab sizes. So Bootstrap is used for mobile application developments because it has several responsive features and design templates that are very, very easy to use. In other terms, it is user mobile first approach. Yes, Bootstrap is basically mobile first approach. It is because the main concept is whatever website, whatever application you develop it. So what end user is expects is that should work for the mobile, and mobile is very smaller size. So Bootstrap will support this feature, that is mobile application feature. Is it right? And it is not only just mobile phone, computer. You talk about tabs, you talk about everything. It will support here. Is it right? So that is the answer which you can see on the screen. And so there are certain questions like, can you explain some features of Bootstrap? What are the main features? So what are the main features, guys? So first thing is I can say it is freely available. The code is freely available. Is it right? It is free and open source. That means you can freely download that Bootstrap. That is the one thing. And it is not only the software I'm talking about, source. When you talk about a source, it is a free source. That means, say you are a developer, you are becoming a developer. In the initial stage, you need a support from other guys. Other guys may be not from your house or not from your college, not from the entire world, from entire world, the source code, Bootstrap code, source code is available freely. You can search anything, the code is available. So that if you are not aware of anything, then you will get the code here. So that is the meaning of this open source, guys. Whenever you say open source, it is not just only the free software. It means the source code is available freely. Okay. And it is compatible with almost all modern browsers, right? Browsers are different and it should work for the major browsers compulsory. It works with all the major browsers: Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Internet Explorer, Internet Edge, Opera. And main features, again, responsive features are there. And one more thing, that, guys, so easy to use. When you compare with your CSS cascading style sheet, Bootstrap is much, much easier. Is it right? Because it is contains inbuilt classes. Just call that class. So once again, I'll take an example of the most of the time I'll take the example of the image, because making that image responsive is very, very difficult using CSS, because we have to write a media queries, lot of media queries. But here what we are doing, guys, just we are calling that class called img fluid. Is it right? So that's why I say easy to use, and it is lightweight. So when I say lightweight here, what is weight? Are you lifting any software? It is not about lifting or anything, basically downloading time, guys. So Bootstrap is what happens. It is a third-party application, right? That is it is a framework which is developed by some other people. You are downloading it or you are using it. If you are not downloading also, if you are using CDN also, that has to connect to that Bootstrap server and it has to get the data from the server. Okay, what happens in this process? Your data may load it very slow. Your website may load it very slow. It will become very slow. But if your website is very slow and it is taking more time for loading, people will get irritated. We get irritated. People are users. We are the users, right? So we want everything within a fraction of second, like this, like if you just chitke mein ho jana hai pura. So we want to get it everything in that. So that's what is lightweight it is. Even though if you use Bootstrap, your website will load it very fast. So it consists of several components and utilities. Like I told you that there's one different components, like when you talk about carousel, you talk about models, you talk about and you talk about accordion. So all these are available with the help of Bootstrap. Is it right? So guys, one thing I want to remind you that this session is for the people, those who really practiced it. Okay. So if you are not practiced much, please practice it and come to this session, guys. Okay. So because then otherwise you will not understand my terminologies properly. So, and it supports jQuery plugins also. Like when you say collapse, you talk about, when you talk about model, you talk about, all these are nothing but JavaScript related one. So then what you are talking about jQuery, here it is. jQuery is nothing but JavaScript library it is. So in fact, it is a JavaScript. jQuery is a library of JavaScript. Okay. So that included with this, including with that of JavaScript itself. So supports jQuery plugins, easily customizable, mobile friendliness, simple integration, right? It is very easy. Like if you want a drop down menus, if you want a navigation. So one easy method is go to that getbootstrap.com and go to that navbar, search for the navbar, you can copy the code and you can paste it. It is right. So you can integrate it very easily. Good documentation, that's what is important, because documentation is very, very, very good. I have seen a lot of softwares, but Bootstrap is documentation, the website is very good. You'll get everything. So availability of large number of templates, themes, and plugins. There are some predefined designs are available in Bootstrap. Okay, examples are available. For example, if I want to show you, I can just take you to that Bootstrap there. And get Bootstrap once again. So getbootstrap.com. If you can go here once again, and there are examples. Can you see this, guys? So there are some examples. A lot of examples are available here. So you can download it or you can use it. See, we have designs here. Say if you want this layout, so you can click on this. See, we have all this. So we have so many options. You can download this, not from here actually. If you want to download it, so we have a download option here. Can you see download examples? Everything will be downloaded. All these things will be downloaded. When I click on this download, everything will be downloaded. But look for whatever you want. It said there are name sidebars, footers, okay, And for sidebars, if you can see here, see this guys. So dashboard, especially when you talk about a dashboard, this is the easiest method to create a dashboard. Okay. So if you talk about footers, say in future, somewhere in your website, you want to add a footer for your website. So, so instead of we writing a code, the code is available here, ready-made. Is it right? So like that drop downs are available here. Okay. And we have models are available here. It is list groups are available here. It is. And we have so many checkout options. Checkout we talk about, especially when you are dealing with your e-commerce website. If somebody asks you to do e-commerce website, in that checkout page is required as a front end. So then you have to design something like this: first name, last name, username, all these things. So if you do that manually, like inserting the form input box for the first name, for last name, and input group, all these things will take a lot of time, right? You can take this and you can use it. Is it right? So payment and everything. So don't worry about the validation. See, validations cannot be done with the help of our Bootstrap. Say, for example, if I click it, so yeah, simple validation, that is the name is entered or not, card is entered or not, these validations are there. Little validations, but not full-fledged validations. Whether CVV is right or wrong, whether the card is right or wrong, that can be done with the help of server-side coding. But designing part, little validations from the front-end side, we can do that very easily. Is it right? So that is the beauty of these examples here, which I was talking about. It is so that is good documentation. Availability of the large number of templates and themes are available. It is. Let us go for this. If they ask you like some what are components and name some of the components of Bootstrap. So as I said, we have a lot of components like carousel you talk about, collapse you talk about, drop downs you talk about, okay, and accordion you talk about. So drop downs, list groups, models, navigation bars, paginations, and other than this, we have popovers, progress bars, tooltips. For example, let me take about spinners here. Okay, I'll go to the getbootstrap.com here once again. So spinners components. When I go here, we have a lot of components here, guys. Let me just write a spinner. So spinners. So what exactly it is? Indicate the loading state of the component. So you might have seen that when you are loading a web page, it will be rotating like that. So that's called spinners. Can you see? This is called spinners here. So there is a class called spinner border. It is. In fact, in our sessions, we didn't discuss it much. But as I said, there are so many things out there. You can refer this website because I have given a path. Most of the 90% of the work is done. So remaining part, you can check it like this. So there are some colors here. If you want to include in your web pages, you can include it. But this is works with the dynamic content only, not with the just static content. So as a designer, you will do all designing part and developer will do some other part, like whenever they are downloading something, whenever they are visiting some website, if the page is taking too much of long time, they will utilize all this here. Okay. So spinners you talk about, tooltips you talk about. Tooltips, here you can see, is there any example here? For example, yeah, custom tooltip you can see. When I move the cursor, I'm getting the tooltip. Can you see this is the tooltip when I move it? Okay. So like this, tooltips where you want it, right side, bottom, left, top, like this. These are the tooltips and the code is available here. So like this, we have so many components are available here. In fact, you can see this accordion component, which we have seen earlier. So like, I'm just reminding you this. These are all components, right? Accordions and everything in this. So flash, can see. Can you see arrows also? We are getting it. So these are all which you can use it in this. These are all components. That's the fourth question. We all know that grid model system, right? So in that grid model, what is the main component there? Container. So without container, there is no grid model, right? So I just remind you that again. I will take you to this grid model once again. So grid system. Use our powerful mobile first Flexbox grid to build layouts of all shapes and sizes. Thanks for 12 column system it is. You have to remember this. Those who really practiced it, 12 column system and 6 to default responsive TIS it is. So if you talk about this, there is a container here it is. Can you see this? Class container. Without container, your this model or this grid or this design, you won't get it here. So the concept of this one here it is, you should have a container first, right? So that can be done with the help of this division like this, is right? And for example, you want to create a row here. And in this, how many columns you want it? First column, second column, third column. Okay. So that is possible with the help of a row here. So there is a row here. And we require a column here. And this column can be done with the help of this. These are the columns here. Okay. And this column, if you talk about here, this is one more column. Just reminding you this, guys, once again, you are all really practiced it. You can easily understand what exactly I'm saying this. That means columns are part of the rows and rows are part of the container. Is it right? If you have one more row here, you can take one more row here. That is a one more row will be created here, where inside the container itself. And again, row contains columns. So container is a must here. So that's what is clearly explaining this, what exactly container here it is. So containers by default center and horizontally pad your content. Use container for responsive pixel width. Okay. And you can use container fluid also, which is 100% across all viewports and devices. Okay. And that's what it clearly explained here it is. Containers are the most fundamental components in Bootstrap. It behaves like a container where you can put HTML code and it's part within page where the content of site can be placed to make it responsive and fast it is. So that is one more fifth question here it is. And next one is, how many types of layouts are there in Bootstrap 5? So there is basically two types. One is a fluid layout and one more is a fixed layout. What does it mean? It is, when I say fluid layout, like container, when we take it, container fluid, we use it. Container fluid. And fixed layout will be container, like this container we are using it. Just simply if you use a class called container, it is a fixed layout. Fluid layout is 100% layout it is. Okay. And for that, we will be using container fluid. If we can go here to the Bootstrap, you can see containers. As I said, container for the responsive pixel width, it is related to pixel width, whereas container fluid is what? 100%. So fixed layout and fluid layout. This is a fixed layout, and this class is for the fluid layout. It is. How many types of layouts are there? Yeah, that's what we discussed. And what is a fluid layout? It is clearly explained that the fluid layout is useful when you need to make an app that involves the full width of the screen. It is, and the fluid layout adjusts itself according to the browser size. It is. And what is the fixed layout? Fixed layout is the default layout, and also responsive and easy to use. Unlike a fluid, it can be adjusted itself according to the browser size it is. Next is, how can you make image round in Bootstrap 5? Okay, so you can use one class called rounded circle. Right guys? Rounded circle. So for example, if I go to the image, here it is. So images, okay, let me write responsive images. Let me go for, here it is. So we have all this, and what I'm looking for, rounded. So here we are not getting it actually. In fact, you can see the border. I think it is in border. You will get it. Anyway, you can search it for that. And I just want to share, here it is. There is something called rounded circle. Rounded circle class to make the image rounded. It is okay. In fact, we discussed in our session also. And there is something called progress bar. A progress bar is an indicator to show the progress. So you might have seen that while installing the software, it will show you the progress bar, right? 10% installed, 20% installed, 40% installed. Okay. So that is dynamic. I can accept that. But designing is required, right? So there is a one class called progress bar. It is. I just want to take you to this progress bar. If you type it, progress bar, it is. So progress Documentation and examples. Documentation examples of Bootstrap custom progress bar featuring support for the stacking bars, animating backgrounds and exist. So for example, these are the progress bars it is. And what is the class we are using? Class progress. This is simply progress it is. But when I say progress it is, and if you can see this value here, it is, if you can see this, yeah, this is the best example. Yeah. So progress bar style width is only 25% it is. Is it right? And progress bar width is 50%. Can you see this? It is 50% it is. And this is 75%. This is 100%. Can you see this? One is 50%, one is 75%, one more is 100%. You can use this one. Okay, progress bar it is. Okay. So bar sizing, you can set it here. How much size you want it. Height also you can set it. So there is a height, you can increase it. Where is the height is mentioned here? It is height. Yeah, progress bar. It is, yeah, style height also is mentioned. That is normal default inline CSS. It is labels also we can use it like 25%, something like this. And the background colors. If you want to use a background color, progress bar, BG success, BG info, BG warning, BG danger. All these classes can be used. Okay, so that is about the progress bar. And what are the different types of buttons are available in Bootstrap? You know that. So class BTN, BTN danger, BTN success, BTN like this. So Bootstrap 5, there are lots of styles are available, and button with colors, buttons with colored outline, small buttons, large buttons, button links, right? Let me take you to this again. Buttons. We have these buttons, right? Colors are available here, it is right. So colors are available here, like button primary, button secondary, was success, down danger, and we have something called button tags link also, it is available. Can you see this? A class it is. And we have outline buttons, just outer lines buttons it is. Okay, that we can use button outline primary, button outline success like this. And a large button sizes. Okay, one is a large button, button large it is, and small button it is. If you can see small buttons, it is button SM is used. Okay, so this is what the question and answer related to this one. Next one, define Bootstrap 5 thumbnails. So guys, where we have seen the thumbnail, we have seen in images, right? IMG fluid, we have seen that. IMG thumbnail it is. It is easy way to use layout for images, videos, text also. In a grid system, we can create thumbnails by adding a tag with the IMG thumbnails class. IMG dash thumbnail class around the image. Okay, just check it guys. That is IMG fluid, we have seen that. IMG thumbnail also we have seen that. Next one, alert boxes are available. It is, there are so many alert boxes. Okay, alert messages we can display. Okay, and if I can just want to show you that alert once again, alert. So these are the alert boxes designs. If you can see, these are the alert boxes. Is it right? And next one, it is about explain the model in Bootstrap. You know that using our model, we have seen that using our JavaScript feature model. I think it is almost last session. So in that session, I explained it. Model, here it is, right? So model is a model which we discussed. Like we clicked it, we are getting a model, we closed it. We have seen this. That is a model with the help of JavaScript feature. Okay, and that is clearly explained in the description. A model is an inherited window that is layered over its parent window. This is used to augment the user experience and different functionalities. Model windows are created with the help of model plugin it is. And we have so many other things here, which are the classes used for the pagination. We have seen that pagination class. The classes used for the pagination are the pagination class. In that again, we have page item, page link also will be there. And in that again, size page, pagination large, and whether you want to activate or disable it also will be there in that. And next one is explain what Bootstrap's collapsing element is. We have seen that menu collapsing, accordion also is collapsing. It allows you to collapse any particular element without using any JavaScript code. Okay, without using any JavaScript code itself. Just collapse. If you use it for paragraph, the paragraph will be not visible. To use this feature in Bootstrap, you can have to add it. So in Bootstrap, if you want to use it, that when I click the button, after clicking the button, if you want to collapse it, then JavaScript functionality we have to use it. That is data BS toggle collapse to the controller element it is. And in fact, you can check that using that model, using check by accordion also. Explain the uses of carousel plugin. So why carousel is required, guys? We have seen this carousel, right? So carousel. So carousels, right? That's what is asking here. These are the carousels. We have seen that. So number of slides it is. So a carousel plugin in Bootstrap is used to make the sliders on the web pages or your site. Several carousel plugins are used in Bootstrap to display large contents with a small space and adding sliders. Okay, we have so many other classes here in this. So that's about the carousels. And what will be the out of the below code? For example, if you can see the code, what is you are going to get it? It is basically progress bar, you are going to get it. If you place multiple bars with the same progress parent element, Bootstrap will pile them in as we know. So these are progress bars. Just now we have seen that progress earlier. That is for the progress bars. And explain input groups in Bootstrap 5. So we have seen that forms, right? So in forms, input type equals to text, we will use it. So for example, input groups, let me just remind you that. So input groups. So you have seen this input group. Can you see this, guys? This is the input group. So at the red symbol is there, and in that beside text is there. What we are using? We are using something called input group here. Input group text. Is it right? Form control, which is a class for the input box, and you can see there is a box here, and afterwards input box it is, right? So that is about input group it is. So explain briefly how the navigation bar works here. For example, if you go to the navigation bar, if I type nav bar, it is. So navigation bar, which you are familiar, and navigation bar contains so many classes like nav bar brand. It contains to place the brand, nav bar for the full height, toggler. So many things are there. For example, if you can see this, it contains all this, and when I make it smaller and bigger also, it will be responsive. So what exactly this explains? See this. Navbar is an eminent feature to make it responsive meta component that works with the navigation address for your application and site. In the mobile view, the navbar collapses, right? Becomes a horizontal as the available viewport width decreases. Okay, that's what happens here, which we have seen. And what are the two methods for creating a navigation bar? So one is using UL element, we can create it, and without UL also. Without UL means, for example, I'll take you to this. What we are using, guys, here, navigation bar, and here we are using UL. Can you see this UL and list item? Is it right? We are using UL and list item. So without that one also we can use it simply without using list items. Navigation bar, if we can go ahead, UL again it is there, and still it is showing. Yeah, can you see this? Are you using any navigation bar here? Sorry, are you using any UL here? It is. We are not using any UL. Just we are using the A tag. It is. This is without UL. It is. So that's what it says that. So and because we use classes for your navigation, you can avoid list-based approach entirely if you like it. So these are the two methods with your UL or without UL. So what is breadcrumb? It is breadcrumb is an efficient way to show hierarchy-based information for a site. This can show the information like published date, categories, tags, etc. It may also tell the user about the current page location with a navigational hierarchy. Especially this breadcrumb will be useful for this. The current page location it is. Current page location it will show in the navigation. So I just want to show you this breadcrumb if I type it here. So this is breadcrumb. So what it says that indicate the current page location within a navigational hierarchy that automatically adds separate via. So can you see this? So we have this home and library. That means you are indicating this, you are in the current page, home library data. So you are in the current page called data it is. So this is the code which you will get it for that. Okay. So that is about to show the current page. And what are labels? So guys, tell me where you will find the labels. You will find that labels in the forms. Like you might have seen that first name, last name, you type it, right? So these are called labels. Labels are used for offering counts, tips, and other things to provide markup on web pages. We use the label tag to indicate the labels. For example, if you take it here, label, okay. So floating labels also available here. It is. So this is a label. You can see this. It is a floating. It is. So we are using something called label tag. It is. Can you see this, guys? This is a label tag. Okay. And so especially we'll use in the form. What are badges in Bootstrap 5? Badges are small count and labeling components. We use badge class or contextual class to create a badge. So for example, if you can say badge here, the badges, these are the badges. You might have seen that whenever you get a new message, you will get some 1, 2, 3, 4, that badges. These are called badges. Basically, badges are different types like this. See, notification 4. Okay, see like this. These are all badges. It is C badge. And so colors, you can choose it, any badge. Okay, so these are all badges. So badges are small count and labeling components we use for the badge class and contextual class. And how can we make image responsive? As we discussed earlier also, we have to use img fluid. It is img fluid class. We have to use it for the image, or img thumbnail also we can use it. So what is a lead? Lead makes paragraph stands out. So like if you have a paragraph, if you want to show highlight it, then use this lead. The dot lead class is used for this purpose and enlarges the font and taller increases the line height as well. So let me show you, because so it is a hanging text, we can say that. See this hanging text it is. Because of the lead, it is showing this class lead. Okay. So that is about the lead. And accordion, we have just seen that earlier, build vertical collapsing accordions in combination with our collapse JavaScript plugin. Okay. And what is the purpose of the grid system, guys? This is very, very important question. Okay. By using the grid system, we can make up to 12 column across page. Different classes have been defined for the purpose. So just I need to explain this one once again because we discussed it. Just I need to remind you once again. Grid model, this, guys. Grid model is important. As I said, container class, row class, COL class, right? So we have these grid options like extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, extra, extra large. The sizes are given here, it is, and the layouts here available, it is. Okay. So this is very, very important. For the responsive designing, this grid is important, it is. And what are the grid breakpoints? So when we talk about the grid, there is definitely breakpoints are there. So what are the breakpoints? You can see here, guys. The 6 breakpoints are there in this version: extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, extra, extra large. Okay, so that's what it is mentioned here. Breakpoints are based on the minimum width media queries, meaning they affect the breakpoint and all those above. This means you can control container and column sizing and behavior of the each breakpoint. So these are the examples here: extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. And finally, we have one more question. Is there any relation between the Bootstrap and JavaScript? Definitely. When you are using the Bootstrap, there are a lot of JavaScript plugins are available, especially if you talk about Collapse, if you talk about Carousel, if you talk about a model, everywhere that, we have this. Yes, there is a relationship between the two technologies. Some Bootstrap components require JavaScript to work properly. So some of the components are alerts, buttons, checkboxes, radio buttons, navigation bars, models. All these are our Bootstrap and JavaScript relation is there. Right, guys? These are the some of the questions. Okay, and be ready for your interview questions. And my best wishes for all of you.